Okay, a very good morning to all of you. And today we had discussed the chapter, The Portrait of a Lady, which is a loving tribute by Khushwant Singh to his grandmother. And he paints a picture of his grandmother, and that is a picture of beauty, peace, contentment. And he says it's like an expanse of pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment everywhere. This is what he says about his grandmother. And how the relation changed when they moved on to the city, what was the turning point, how the common link of friendship was snapped, each and everything we had discussed yesterday. Those students who had joined the group today, especially many of the students from B1 section, because you had not been coming to school and I had made the group, all those who were there attending offline classes, I had added them in the group. But since your class group was formed today, so I requested your class in charge to send that link, and now you people have joined it. So for you people and for those who could not attend the class yesterday, I sent the recording of it. You can go through it whenever you have time. But please go through it so it's for better understanding. And from D1 section also, all those who had not attended the class yesterday can go through the video. And today we would discuss the questions, and then I would be sending you an assignment which I had already informed has to be submitted in PDF form in Google Classroom, the code of which and the link and everything would be shared soon. Okay? Is it clear to all offline students also? No, regular register only. You have to make only one register as informed yesterday for English, and whatever assignment is given to you, you would be given textbook questions plus a little bit of assignment that would be centralized. We have centralized content that is shared by the department, and as soon as it comes, I would share it with you. We have to discuss the questions today, the questions of the chapter, and anybody who has any confusion, the students who are attending the class for the first time from non-medical or art section, online students can put forth their queries here. Any problem? But the problem which I am facing is, in spite of repeated reminders, your videos are still turned off. Please turn them on, all the students. If you have any confusion, if you want to ask anything, you can ask. The three phases, understanding the text page number is 6. This is the book on Bill. Okay, the three phases of the author's relationship with his grandmother before he left the country to study abroad. What were the three phases? What was the first phase? What was the first phase? Online student. Phase of the friendship was in the village when they both were constant companions. She used to accompany him to school because the school was attached to the temple. He would study at school and the grandmother would read scriptures at the school. Okay, and she would also wake him up in the morning. She would dress him up, she would bathe him, and then they would go together. And the second phase started, or offline students. What about the second phase? Yes, come now.
Ma'am, the second phase was when the child started doing the.
Just a minute, come now. हाँ, अब बोलो.
Yes. When the child started doing the English school, and his grandmother had no idea about the subject English and all other subjects. So she could not spend more time with him.
Yes, very good. So the second phase started when they were called to the city, because the parents had now settled comfortably. They had settled well. They had settled comfortably, and even though they shared the same room there in the city, but the grandmother could not accompany him to school. And why could she not accompany him? Because he went by motor bus. Okay, and he started going to an English medium school, and she couldn't understand anything that was being taught there, and she was distressed also there because he was not given any lessons on God, and there were no teaching about scriptures and all, and instead he was being given music lessons, which made her very unhappy. Okay, and the third phase was, yes, just a minute. Yes, Mehek. हाँ. Yes. The third phase? No. We are talking about before. Please look at the question carefully. Before he left the country to study abroad. Then he got the separate room, and when was it that he got the separate room? When he went to the university, not high school. When he went to the university, he was given a separate room, and it was at that point of time that the common link of friendship that was between the grandmother and grandson, it was snapped, it was broken. So these are the three phases. Okay. Now you have to tell me three reasons why the author's grandmother was disturbed when he started going to the city school. What were the three reasons? Somebody who's not answered before. Yes, Matri.
And the first reason was that the grandmother would accompany her grandchild because now she was under the middle class. Secondly, she was upset because there were no teachers about gods and scriptures. And thirdly, she had very few association with music, and therefore she was very upset when the narrator told that he's getting music lesson.
Yes, very good. So the three, yes. So the three reasons why she was disturbed when he started going to the city school was, first of all, she couldn't accompany him to school because he started going by motor bus. Second was, there was no teaching of God and scriptures, and she felt that, being a religious-minded lady, she felt that there should be teaching of religion and about God and scriptures in children's life. And thirdly, she associated music with, she had very vulgar associations of music, and she felt that it is the monopoly of only beggars and harlots, and therefore she felt that no child should be given music lessons. So she was disturbed. So these are the three reasons. Next is three ways in which the author's grandmother spent her days after he grew up. I need answer from the boys' side. Just go through that video today at home. ठीक है? आप भी पढ़ के आओगे बच्चे, ठीक है? Otherwise there is no point. Yes, last girl. Yes, very good. So the three ways in which the author's grandmother spent her days after he grew up were: number one, counting the beads of the rosary, which she had been doing right from the beginning, reciting prayers throughout, in an inaudible kind of inaudible prayer, which others could not hear, but she would constantly keep on singing prayers. Second was sitting by the side of the wheel, spinning the wheel, okay, spinning the wheel. And thirdly, she used to feed the sparrows. And why did she start feeding the sparrows? Because there were no dogs in the city, on the streets. So therefore she had to resort to feeding the sparrows. The odd way in which the author's grandmother behaved just before she died. Online students, what was odd? Yes, Saloni. Odd about the way in which she behaved, in which she behaved a few hours, or you can say a day before she died. The day before she died, you have to talk about that. You have to focus on that here. Anybody else from among the online students? Anybody else? You could also be a part of it, but this would come later, Saloni. You have to mention about the things that happened. You know, I cannot see you, so how can I let you speak? Whoever is saying may I? You need to turn your videos on for that. Please turn your videos on and then say may I. Anji, online students? Yes, Joy? Bolo. Joy. It was peaceful, but how does her behavior come here? After she had died, how could she behave? So what was odd about the way in which she behaved before she died? I had also given you a hint that the day before she died, what she do that. Okay, now let me give chance to online students. Just you can reply to this question. Somebody who's not answered before. Yes. What's your name? हाँ बोलो. Yes, she didn't pray. That was the first time in her life that she did not pray. That was the first time that she did not pray. Just a minute.
We also have that she said this palace for the longer.
Yes, 1 minute. Just a minute. Yes, it was the evening before she died. She collected all the women of the neighborhood. She started thumping the drum and she sang of the homecoming of the warriors. And it was the first time in her life that she did not pray. Okay. Next is the way in which the sparrows expressed their sorrow when the author's grandmother died. Yes, online students. We have 45 students. Yes. The way in which the sparrows expressed their sorrow when the author's grandmother died. Akriti, can you respond? Yes. Yes, very good. So they had a very deep bond, an affectionate bond, loving bond with the grandmother because she had been feeding them for quite some time for many years. And the day she died, they just gathered in thousands around her, around the place where her corpse was lying, and they did not chirp, they didn't chirp at all. And also when the author's grandmother, feeling sorry for them, threw some breadcrumbs so that they authors, not grandmother, sorry, mother, when the author's mother threw some breadcrumbs for them, they took no notice of them, and they just flew away quietly the moment her body was carried off. So this shows that they were deeply attached to the grandmother. They shared an affectionate kind of a bond with her. Next is talking about the text. The author's grandmother was a religious person. What are the different ways in which we come to know this? How do you know that she was a religious minded lady? How do you know that the author's grandmother was religious? Yes, Maitri, you can start with the answer and we can have instances from other students also.
In the start, the appearances that his grandmother used to always count the beats of the rosary and speak in audible prayers. Along with that, she used to speak prayers loudly in a sing-song voice with an intention that the author learns them to do. Also, later on, when they came to the city, they used to not even talk to the grandchild, but just even reciting the prayers in voices.
Yes, very good. And anybody else who can just add on to it or just repeat what she said? One thing you have missed out. She used to go to that. Yes. Okay. So right from his childhood, he had seen his grandmother praying continuously, and she even while she dressed him up, while she bathed him, she even prayed at that time, and she continued singing at that time in the hope that the author would learn by listening to it, by hearing it, he would learn it. So, and she recited prayers at that time also, and then she accompanied him to school because the temple was attached to the school, and she would sit there throughout that time. And on their way back, they fed the dogs and all. And then when they moved on to the city, what happened? She used to keep on singing, and she was very perturbed and very disturbed by the fact that the author was given music lessons and there was no teaching of God and scriptures. And her prayers and telling the beads of the road that continued unabated there also. Yes, Matthew?
The question where they asked that we contributed to the grandmother, we can add this up that even though she was against teaching of music lessons,
Yes, you can add that also. She still sang. She was against music, but she herself sang because she was so happy that after the return of her grandson that she sang about the homecoming of warriors. That can be added in that question. Yes, good. Okay. So, and even when she welcomed the author back from abroad, when she went to receive him at the station, there also she was busy saying the prayers continuously. When she hugged him, he could hear her praying and singing, and she died with prayers on her lips. Okay, and that rosary in her hands. So all these instances, all these examples clearly show that she was a religious minded lady. Got it? Yes?
Yes.
Online students. Yes. Okay. Okay. Next, online students have to answer now. Describe the changing relationship between the author and his grandmother, and did their feelings for each other change? How would you describe the changing relationship between the two? Who wants to answer? Online students. Kanika, you want to answer? Okay, yes. A kind of a distinction affect between the two, but do you think the feelings for each other changed? Feelings did not change at all. You know, they were together when they were together at village and when they were in city also. Even though she could not agree, even though she did not like the things being taught at the school, still she didn't say anything. And also she was not able to help him with his lessons and all, but the feelings remained the same. She was there to see him off at the station when he went abroad. She was there to receive him, even in spite of her old age. She was always there for him. So this shows that there was no change, even though the distance grew between them, but the feelings did not change. Yes. Yes, yes. From the narrator's point of view, also you can add. So, would you agree that the author's grandmother was a person strong in character? If yes, then you have to give instances. She was a strong headed, strong minded lady. If you think so, then you have to give reasons, give instances, give examples from the story. Yes.
After going to the English medium school by a motor bus, author would tell her, grandmother.
कोई बात नहीं सोचो बोलो. How do you know that she was a lady strong in character? Yes, Mehek di. बैठ जाओ कोई बात आंसर. Yes, she accepted each and everything, but you have to start right from the beginning while they were there together in the village. There she was all alone, and she had taken the responsibility all on herself. She was an old lady, but single-handedly she took care of her grandson with so much, sit down, took care of him with so much of love, with so much of affection, with so much of care, and she instilled so many positive values in him. Okay, and because it is the childhood when the foundation is laid of your character, so she made it a point to instill all the good values, all the moral values, all the good values, the teaching of religion, of God, and everything. So even though she was uneducated and she was a rustic lady, she belonged to a village, still she handled it very well. And then when they moved on to the city, then what happened?
She used to ask
Yes, she used to ask him, and even though she did not like the things, but she remained reserved and she did not interfere in the kind of teaching that was going on for him, because she knew it that it was for his betterment, and she never interfered. And she just remained occupied with spinning wheel and with herself and feeding the sparrows. Okay, so she never allowed her feelings to come in way of her grandson's education. Okay, and then this shows that she was a lady having very strong willpower and also a lot of patience, and there was a lot of love and kindness and spirituality in her, and all these things. And she was, she had a great love for birds, she had a love for animals, and she was very self-controlled, she was very kind. All these things show that she was a very strong-headed, strong-minded, a lady strong in character. Got it? Yes. Yes, Paramveer. Yes, Paramveer. Yes. Okay. So you have to do. See, you can start with your register, make an index. Okay, and just start with these questions. The first 8 questions, 5 from understanding the text, and 3 from talking about the text. And you can just do these till we get some centralized content from the department. I'll just take your attendance. If somebody has joined by some other name, then you have to tell me.